drink enough water, wake up at 4 a.m., eat the rainbow, manage your stress, hit the gym every day. We've all heard it before, and while these habits can have a positive effect on our lives, it can be unrealistic for a lot of people. I get it. I used to work at a place where I started at 6 a.m. in the morning, and there was no way to get in a morning routine, let alone sleep enough. Just because we have busy lives, it doesn't mean we cannot work around it. We just need to find what works for us. So today I wanted to share 10 steps with you that helped me become a better version of myself, and it might help you too. But everyone is different, so just take it or leave it. My first step to becoming a better version of myself is to plan ahead. If you fail to plan, plan to fail. And I swear by this saying. Whenever I don't have a plan for the day, I get very little done, and I'm doing things that feel urgent but rarely important. So every night before I go to bed, I will take out my journal or my Notion planner and I write down the most important things to get done the next day. I'm not talking about a 20-item to-do list. 1 or 2 things that will move the needle and bring momentum. Like working on my recipe ebook. Not urgent, but definitely important to me, and I always end up postponing it because other things get in the way. Win the morning, win the day. Cliché, but true. I have a really anxious personality type, and I find whenever I start my day with checking my phone, emails, DMs, comments, I get really overwhelmed, and it has an effect on my whole day. So I try my best to stay away from my phone for at least 30 minutes when I wake up. I cannot always stick to this, but I try to turn off my Wi-Fi, and this way I'm starting from an active instead of a reactive state of mind. I think most of us, me included, set ourselves huge goals that we want to achieve in the future. For me, that's moving to Spain or publishing my ebook. Those goals can feel really far away sometimes, and it can be demotivating. So instead of fixating on those far end results, I always try to think of the next step. For example, I have a tendency to procrastinate on things I find hard because, well, they are hard and it's easier to scroll on my phone. So every night before I fall asleep, in my mind I think about the biggest thing I have to do the next day. Let's say it's editing. I imagine myself sitting down to my desk and wanting to get on my phone and check my Instagram or watch a YouTube video. And I imagine myself not acting on this temptation and instead hitting the editing software, and I get to work. I even imagine my thoughts and all the wonderful excuses I can find, and I counter-argument it. This way, when the next day comes and I'm about to start working, I already had the conversation in my head, and it's more likely I will do the damn thing. If you want to run a marathon but you haven't even done 5K in your life, instead of visualizing yourself in the finish line, visualize yourself waking up in the morning, getting ready even though you don't want to. You look outside, it's raining, but you still go out and you take the first step. And then the next, and there you go. You're running. Consistency over perfection. Let's say this week I only have time to work out 20 minutes. I can choose to skip the whole day because I cannot do my usual 40 minutes, or I can be flexible and do 20 minutes because it's more than 0. I've fallen into the perfection trap way too many times. If I don't work out 5 times a week, I'm not good enough. If I don't wake up at the same time every day, I might as well just give up. The more I pressured myself into being quote-unquote perfect, the less motivated I felt to actually do it. If I know the world will not end by being a bit more flexible and allowing myself to either skip a day or do a shorter workout per se, it will be more likely that I do it. If you want to move more, aim for 1 more session the next week and try to build from there. If you want to eat more plant-based, just try to eat plant-based every second day or every weekend. By this, you already started to build the habit, and this way it won't feel so overwhelming. Be gentle with yourself. You don't want to burn out the first week because you'll end up right where you were. Take your time, respect your energy, and remember, it's about those daily-ish habits, not strictly daily habits, because life will for sure get in the way, and we need to learn how to work around it. Do your best and be proud of every single time you accomplished what you wanted, because now you're 1 step closer to your goals. And speaking of goals, if you actually want to set goals that you can achieve, according to Mel Robbins, there are 2 components to this: the why and the how. Do you really want to quit sugar, or you just have this goal because everyone else has it? Do you really want to run the marathon, or someone else is pressuring you? If you don't have a strong why, you won't have the motivation to do it. Ask yourself the question: is it really something you want? And if so, write down your why so you remember when you want to quit. And the how is the way to know your next step. It's not something you will do 2 months from now. It's something you can do right now, this moment. If you cannot do something towards your goal right away, you still have to break it down into even smaller steps. There are so many rules and diets out there, it's really hard to keep track. Even as someone who is studying nutrition, it can be overwhelming to keep track with all the evidence-based science around food, the trends, what is backed by science, what is not. So to simplify everything, the next step is to focus on whole foods. It doesn't mean restricting other foods or never eating dessert. It simply means add more veggies, fruits, whole grains, beans, nuts and seeds to your plate. It doesn't mean that on that plate you cannot have white pasta or chocolate. It means you add instead of restrict, and thereby you naturally eat more whole foods, and this way you're gonna feel amazing. This is when frozen veggies, fruits and meal prepping certain ingredients can come in handy. So the next step is, yes, you guessed it, meal plan and prep for the week. I don't do this often enough, as in the videos I'm filming I really want to show you as many recipe ideas as I can, but meal planning and prepping can help you achieve your goals more easily. If I plan ahead and I have a nutritious snack prepped in my fridge, I'm more likely to grab those. If I cook enough to have leftover for the next day, I'm more likely to eat and not skip my lunch and then go around munching on everything I can find, because at that point I'm really hungry. And by prepping my breakfast ahead, I make sure I am setting myself up for success. I know that even if things go bad during the day or I sleep in, I had a nourishing meal in the morning. I love making overnight oats, chia pudding, prepping some avocado and chickpea mash for a quick sandwich, or making a smoothie to go. I've personally fallen in love with drinking an oat milk iced coffee. And coffee is actually full of antioxidants and it was linked to decrease certain types of cancers. However, being mindful around when and how much we consume can have a huge effect on our health. In the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, he talks about the half-life of caffeine. This means the time it takes for the body to remove 50% of caffeine from our system. This half-life is 5 to 7 hours. Now, of course, if you have a faster metabolism, this might happen in a shorter period of time, but you get the idea. Coffee first thing in the morning on an empty stomach can also disrupt your hormones, which may cause you cravings during the day and lack of energy. It doesn't mean we cannot enjoy a cup of coffee, but try drinking it before noon and preferably 1 hour after waking up and after having breakfast. I know having a warm drink first thing in the morning is so comforting, so that's why I love to enjoy a cup of golden latte if I'm craving something warm, or a naturally caffeine-free tea. I set up a Google Calendar, which has been a huge help for me to manage my time well and know what I need to do and when. Many times it's not about our lack of motivation to do something, we just cannot find the time. This way I know I can dedicate an hour of my time to work on my cookbook. It doesn't seem long, but an hour a day goes a long way. And the final step to become a better version of ourselves might be the single most important one. It is to take time to recharge and fill your cup. Because guess what? You cannot pour from an empty cup. I feel like we live in a time when productivity is number one, everything else comes second. But we cannot be our best self and always focus on productivity if we don't take time to relax. So set some time aside to do something you enjoy and that's recharging you. Going out for dinner, walking in the forest, having time with your loved ones, or having an extra 2 hours of sleep. Whatever fills your cup. So these were my 10 steps that helped me become a better version of myself, but I'm still working on it. I just hope this helped you in any way and inspired you to take good care of yourself. Thank you for watching. I'm sending you so much love and sunshine, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.